All right, cool. Here's the LIJ. We got a nice special guest here from Boston College, Connor Barrett. Just finished his last exam. It's taking it from home. Connor, welcome.
Thank you for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure, bud. It's my pleasure. You know, one of the things that we talk about so often with our student athletes is the great experiences at these amazing universities that don't have varsity lacrosse, but they have amazing club programs. And you know, I wanted you to just educate the public on your experience at Boston College, take them through, you know, when you were a little freshman and trying out for the team to your senior year, and obviously what just ended up abruptly.
Yeah, so a freshman year is definitely, a thought of mine. Obviously, BC is a great school, and I wanted to go there for academic purposes. But I knew about their club lacrosse team through a friend, Eamon Scaring, who played for FLG at one time, I believe.
Sure.
And the whole trial process was very, not hands off, and it was run by students because we didn't have a coach at the time. So that process was definitely a little different than obviously you'll see from D1 programs and stuff like that. But it was great. Making the team was great. The group of guys was great. And the experience as a whole was just, I think something that changed my BC career. I don't think I would have had the same experience without it. It was a great way to meet new people, just arriving on campus and connect with upperclassmen who really gave a lot of insight and advice that really shaped my career. And then through that, I think the best thing that it provides is it's the perfect level of seriousness when you end a high school career. It's not something that you have every day of the week. So you get accustomed to living that college life while also having, something fun to do on the side, while also having the serious competitiveness that you want in playing a sport in college. So I think we practiced about 2 to 3 times in the fall to 3 to 4 times in the spring. And then through that in the spring, we had anywhere from like 10 to 13 games just based on the year and scheduling and stuff like that. And I mean, the best part about this is you play in places you've never played before. We went to California this year, which I've never been to before. We played in Arizona my sophomore year, and you play all these big school teams like Arizona State, University of Arizona. We go down to Georgia to play, University of Georgia, Georgia Tech. And, it's really cool to see how, not having the commitment of a D1 or a D3 school, you can still get a great, lacrosse career out of it while playing at a less high intensity, but still having a ton of fun.
Let me ask you a question. When you went out to Arizona, I know there was a Manhasset kid that was playing at Arizona State, right?
Oh yeah, that was he wasn't playing there when I went out there, but his Henry Griffith was his name.
Right.
I think he left the team a year before we went out there. But yeah, I think he might have gotten recruited out there to play or something like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Now, do you usually hang out with the opposing teams after the game and go and party on their campus and stuff?
So we actually had, like, before I joined the team, there was actually a few incidents of poor team behavior beforehand. So we were under some pretty strict guidelines. We're no longer under those guidelines, but the trips are on such a tight schedule where, you go in on a Friday, you're playing Friday night, you're playing Saturday night, and you're leaving early Sunday morning, where you don't have downtime to be like, oh, I'm going to go party with these other schools and campuses. So you really do get that, intensity that playing on a real team does provide.
Got it. That's cool. Now, when you went out to California, who'd you end up playing?
We played Chapman University, who was 6th in the country for MCLA, Cal Poly, who was ranked number 1 when the season ended, and Concordia Irvine, which is a small school in Southern California.
I hear that Chapman University, the games there are very well attended. Was there a big crowd?
So I think we were actually there on their spring break, so I don't think we got the crowd that is normally there. But it was still pretty well attended from a parent standpoint. But I mean, the atmosphere the stadium they have is cool. The atmosphere that they have is cool, and they've been a perennial powerhouse in the MCLA, which is the club league. So it's an intense game whenever you go play them.
Did you get a chance at all in your 3 years when you're there to play in the national championship at all, and that venue, that festival they do?
So sophomore year, we did go to nationals. We won our conference tournament, and we played in Utah for that weekend. And unfortunately, we lost to Virginia Tech in the first round. But the the fields that they run it on it's one of the most beautiful sights you ever see. You're just surrounded by mountains, and all you can see is like the snow and the caps, and it's just a great environment to be in, playing with, there's a lot of good players that do enter the MCLA.
Oh yeah, you kidding me? There's tons of great lacrosse, and that's part of why I think it's important to educate the Long Island lacrosse community that there's opportunity out there to play a high brand of lacrosse at all these amazing places. Now, when you were in there playing in that what do they call it? The National Championship Festival? What do they call that event?
I think they just call it the national tournament. I'm not positive. I'm not positive, actually.
Now, do you stay for the whole week, or do you leave after you lose?
So I'm not sure what other teams do, but what we do is, so our president and vice president are very hands-on with the team, and they actually, schedule flights for the team and book basically everything for our travel. So after we lost, they were, scrambling to book flights and stuff. But it is an interesting basis where some teams are, finished with school. I know we've met with a bunch of Georgia Tech players and yeah, we're here for the whole week because our finals are over. But BC ends up having, finals week around the same time as the tournament. So, sophomore year, I was planning on flying back for a day, taking a final, and then flying back out to Utah if we won that first game against Virginia Tech. So it would have been definitely interesting to see, but you're really only there until, you play your one game in the tournament, and then you get a consolation game if you lose, and then you usually leave.
Oh, got it. So how many were there? 16 teams? How many teams in each division?
16 teams. I believe there's 8 conferences now. So I think there's 8 conference winners and then 8 at-large bids.
Got it. So it depends on, that's why you have to play that tough schedule, because you got to bring up RPI.
Yeah, that's why we go out to, California, Arizona, Georgia to play the top 10 teams in the country, because you get those wins and you don't have to win your conference and you're in the tournament.
Now, what other teams are in your conference? What are the schools?
So our conference is just strictly the Northeast, besides, I forget. Oh, so our conference is us, Northeastern, used to be New Hampshire, UConn, and Temple. And we used to have Buffalo, but they left. But we're half of a conference. We are the eastern part of the CLC, and then the western part of the CLC is a lot more Midwestern teams. We got like Michigan State, Central Michigan, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and I think Buffalo is in that one now. So our tournament is actually, our side of the bracket versus their side of the bracket, and then we meet, and then there's one conference winner overall.
Got it. Who'd you beat in the finals when you won it in your sophomore year?
It was still they actually merged them 2 years ago. So when we won, it was still just the PCLL, which was just us, Northeastern, UConn, New Hampshire, and Temple, and we beat Buffalo in the first round, and then we beat Northeastern in the finals.
Oh, right in Boston. That's awesome. Where do you play that? Neutral site, or you play it at the highest seed?
So it's always at a neutral site. So this year we actually would have had to fly out to, I think it was either Lake Erie or Pittsburgh or something like that for the neutral site tournament. But sometimes it's, more local in Boston. But yeah, it's always at a neutral site.
So do they collect money from all the kids in order to make sure they have they put together a budget, like figuring that you're going to play in that tournament and play in the national and all that? Do they figure that all in? Yeah.
So every year the school gives us a certain amount of budget, but there are dues on top of joining the team as well. So if you do play, you do have to pay a certain amount of dues. Now, BC does a great job of, not letting that be an issue. If you are somebody who is, on financial aid or needs financial assistance, and you're, on the team, they will make sure that they take care of you, and they make sure that you still have the same experience as everybody else, although you may not be able to, financially support yourself.
Well, that's awesome. That's great to know. That's really good to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the normal cost for every year for dues for you?
I think every year it's around, I think a little over $1,000 or something like that, just because, flights tend to be expensive and stuff like that, because we do have to pay. No, it's really not terrible at all when you think of the grand scheme of things. Not
for the amount of travel that you do and the experience that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's unbelievable. You get to visit all.
Plus, you get some nice gear like this too.
That's right. That's all in the budget, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to have one of my kids. We sent the kid to Arizona State one year. He was a goalie from Cold Spring, Christian Rafanis, and I was out there because my best friend lives out there, and I visited him on campus, and I went into his on-campus apartment, and he had a pool bigger than the Grand Hyatt pool at the hotel I was staying at.
Oh my God.
It was ridiculous. How beautiful.
That's pretty awesome.
This guy was living large. He's still out there. He never came home. He loves it out there. He had a great experience. His freshman year, they played in that national tournament. I think they lost in the national championship game, and the kid was playing goalie, which was pretty cool. But
that's awesome.
And I hear they move it every year. They move the national championship every year, right?
Yeah. So next year I think it's in Austin, Texas, actually. So that'll be a fun spot to play as well.
Oh, that's awesome. See,
you might see teams push for an extra day there.
Yeah, now they should give all the club guys an extra year also, right? Like the NCAA.
We actually do. If I was staying at BC for another fifth year, I do have another year of eligibility.
Oh, so you can do that. They did the same thing for club.
I actually think the MCLA was before the NCAA in deciding if we got an extra year of eligibility.
Oh, that's cool. So for the kids that are staying in school, or if you went to grad school, could you have done it?
Yeah. So if I go to grad school anywhere that's got a program, I believe I technically still have a year of eligibility left.
I think one of those warm climate schools might be calling your name, Connor.
That maybe. I keep getting texts about Petramala going to USC. Maybe I'll unite with him over there.
Oh, that would be cool. Starting a program out there?
Yeah, that would be
Is that
cool.
the rumor?
I've heard it, but I mean, obviously, I have no idea.
As long as Mark Silos didn't tell you the rumor, then it might be true.
Yeah, that's true. Believe anybody but him.
Oh God, that's funny. Oh, that's great. So I pulled out my Wells Crowther 19 jersey. I don't know if I showed this to you. You know all about it. I want you to tell the folks at home about.
Oh, it's a nice jersey.
Yeah, this is the jersey that and in the FLG program we give to each coach, and then they select the young man or young woman on their team who best exemplifies Wells Crowther. And for the audience that's listening to this, if you're wondering who Wells Crowther is, I'm not going to tell you too much. I always tell people just go watch the video. Google the man in the red bandana, and ESPN did. Well, there's a couple of they did an unbelievable piece. I don't know. Have you ever see the movie they did on him?
No, I never did see the movie. I did, but I got plenty of time now. I might as well watch.
Yeah, Google it. It's a feature film. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Corey and I went to the red carpet event for it. They did a wonderful job on it. And why don't you tell the world about what you guys do, since he's a BC alum, and all the great things that you do for the foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the fall, before the season starts, BC always hosts the Wells Crowther 5K run. So that's just, a day in October. Usually all the, athletic groups on campus will gather in the morning and, set up the 5K with just, drinks, food, water, all stuff like that, talk to the Crowther family and stuff like that, and just make sure the process runs smoothly. And that the turnout for that event is usually, one of the best on BC's campus a year, a couple hundred of people, a few thousand of people sometimes even. And the lacrosse team gets to, kick it off by being the front lines on the run down Linden Lane, right behind the Eagle statue on BC's campus. It's a great sight. You get some nice pictures out of it too, which is always good for Instagram. But then, moving towards the spring, every year we designate somebody as our number 19. And for that, we try to, pick somebody who embodies Wells' selflessness and, embodies just him as a person in general and how he, changed lives.
They wear for the whole year? They wear the number 9?
Yeah. So we decide as, the coaches talk to the captains of the team, who are usually, the president, vice president, part of the board, and then just other, leaders on the team. And, this year we decided, our good friend Mike Cannell was number 19. And you find that out, right before, like an hour before game time, before the first game, to get everybody excited and stuff like that. But Mike, really embodies just Wells' selflessness and, the character that we want to promote as part of Boston College. He had so many other things going on, in his life, and really took out, time out of his busy day. He was a resident, RA as well. and, really had no time to play lacrosse, but, found a way to, fight for his teammates and, show that, this really means a lot to him, and it means a lot for us as well.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. So you do the 5K run now. Is that the same day that they have a thing at the football game for him?
No, the 5K, I think sometimes they do overlap, but, I'm not, but the football day is great. The football game is great as well. The team gets outfitted in great apparel and stuff like that to promote him. And, obviously there's always a halftime, celebration, and everybody just rallies around supporting, who Wells really was and how great of a man he, really was, and the selflessness that, he really showed to how everybody to be.
And Allison, his mom, had told me that I guess the eagle was named after him. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
So the eagle's named as Wells. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to remember him.
Yeah, he's a quality man. So hopefully people that are listening to this go on and they Google it and watch the video. I always tell people, watch it. Make sure you have a box of tissues next to you, because I've watched it maybe 15 times and I cry every time. But you're crying because you're hurt for the Crowthers, but Wells was he's an American hero. It's amazing, and it's pretty incredible that what BC does to keep his life alive, but more importantly, the spirit. And we've utilized Wells' spirit to teach kids how important it is to be a good teammate, to be a good individual, to be a quality young man or young woman. And I think, when you have a quality person like that, if you can utilize their characteristics after a tragic thing, it's something that you can pass on wonderful things to other people. And it's wonderful that BC gets to do that every year. I saw the cleats. I think it was the football team they had like the bandana in it.
Oh yeah, the bandana. So much like the jersey you have, they have that design on the cleats, and it's just a great look.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Now, did you get to go to a lot of BC football games? Was it like, were you around a lot for that, or were you?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, games are every Saturday. Either ranges from like 8 a.m. to the one night game. I think we had two. I think it was Florida State and Clemson. I mean, the games and the tailgating experience are awesome, and you get to experience all of it just because, as we talk about being part of a student athlete, you have no, interaction with something as relaxed as club lacrosse is BC. So you really do get that life of being a college student as well as doing something on the side that you really enjoy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're very happy with your decision when you decided to go there.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, that's and it's funny because I know a lot of BC alums, and there isn't a BC. BC is a school that the alums are very tight knit. It's a great network. Have you tapped into that network? I mean, as far as past players and stuff.
So I mean, I've started not totally, but I've talked to a few people who just recently graduated and were a part of that network, and they're always looking to help you. They're always looking out for the best interest in you, and having that BC logo attached to you for the rest of your life is definitely something that people notice and people look out for.
Absolutely. I know Brandon Cayley, you played with him, right, from Cold Spring?
I think he was a little bit before me, but I've heard the name.
Yeah, and then Mikey Mickelson. I think they graduated.
Oh, Mikey, yeah. I played with Mikey, and he was there my freshman year.
Yeah. I know those kids growing up and stuff, and I know they had great experiences there. There's not too many people that I've spoke to ever. I've never spoken to a person who's ever said a bad word that has attended that school. So, and it's funny because when I was looking at schools with Corey, that was our favorite school. And I said to him, man, you should seriously think about it. If you can get in here, which it's not easy to get into, but if you can get into a school like that, you can't pass it up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I have no bad words to say anything about my experience.
That's cool. Well, hopefully everything will clear up and you'll be able to go back in the fall and enjoy it with your buddies, because I'm sure with the abrupt ending. When did you leave? Like March 10th? When did you come home?
So I forget what date it was exactly, but I think it was actually March 17th that we had to go home or something like that. But it was a sad 4 days that we had just to pack up our stuff and leave. But They offered to, put on a commencement for us in October for Columbus Day. So I think they're doing a really good job with that and allowing us to come back for that. So that'll be exciting.
Oh, that's cool. So all the seniors are going to basically graduate on Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Enjoy that. That's great. That way your family can come up and all your, relatives that want to go. That's pretty cool. And you're going to have Timmy and hopefully right there in Boston. So you could just jump on, what is it, one stop from Timmy?
Yeah, it's like 4 stops on the T or something like that, or like a 20-minute Uber ride. So he'll definitely be there.
That's great. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad they're doing that. That's a great idea. More schools should have done that. A lot of schools did the virtual thing, and I think that's a better idea. God willing, everything will be cleared up sooner than later. But I don't want to talk about negative things when we're talking
Yeah,
about Boston
hopefully.
College. Well, Con, I want to thank you for coming on, bud. It's really, really appreciative, and I'm glad the world can hear about BC and BC Lax and hear it from a great young man like you.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure. I'll always love to talk about BC.
All right, man. Well, I will talk to you later.